with me. Okay, I'm ready.
Hey, we are live. This is Ed Camp 3.0, and we have some amazing people. We're going to let them really quickly introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into some topics. Really, today we're talking about parent-school relationships, but we might get into a little blogging. Sean's up in Alaska. We might talk like Alaskan history. Who knows? Can you see Russia from there, Sean?
Yes, there it is.
There is Russia. Yes, awesome. All right, so hey, listen, if whatever we want, we just want to have the funnest session out there. So I'll be checking the Q&A. If people want to join in, we'll invite them. And go ahead. Debbie? Why don't you start us off, and we'll go to Marcy, and then Sean can introduce himself as well.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm from St. Louis, and I'm a technology coordinator / instructional technology specialist for a pre-K through 8 school.
Rad.
Hi, I am Marcy Abear. I'm from near New Orleans, and I am a computer lab teacher and the technology director for a private school.
Awesome.
Sean Zebarth, Fountain Valley High School. I teach English and journalism, and I'm the webmaster, and I love teaching. I love Ed camping. Here we go.
And probably one of the best guys I know in the whole wide world, too. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Sean Zebarth. I'm Scott Bedley. I teach 5th grade right now, but I've taught 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and high school. And we're talking parent-school relationships. How do you build them better? Anybody want to jump in and give some ideas of what you're doing and how you really work to build relationship with parents?
I was here to find out how. No, I just was wondering if anybody had tried parent camps, like an Ed camp for parents. That's what I was hoping to find out about.
You know, in the last session, Terrio was talking about some of that. He was talking about including students and parents in some professional development opportunities, and I think that would be amazing. At our school, we have a woman. She's in charge. It's the VIPS program, which volunteers. The V is for volunteers, and she does a great job at keeping in touch with the parents, sending them out our principal newsletter. She uses them for all sorts of ways to help out, whether we're passing out books. But you know, I don't see a lot of parents in the classroom at the high school level. And I miss that. I mean, I love helping out in my kids' class. I started teaching 7 years ago, and one of the drawbacks to teaching is that I'm not able to help out in my children's classroom as much because I'm in my own classroom. And I just think it would be fun, and I don't know how many parents would want to do it, but I would love to have parents in my classroom. And actually, blogging, I'm not going to take it off to blogging, but that was
not yet.
That was one way. I ran into one of my students and her parents, and through her daughter's blog, she really was able to see what we were doing in the classroom. And so she mentioned, she's like, I love the blogs because I could see what everybody's thinking about. So that was one way that we kind of invited parents and families in.
Sean, what would you want parents to do at a high school level? I know at my school I'm a K-8, and it seems that the interest in parent volunteers kind of wanes around the 6th grade level. Parents are volunteering a little bit, but what would you want parents to do at the high school level?
That's a good question.
Yes, it is.
But think about it. Think about like with maybe even in the science classes. Let's say they have no background in science, but teachers are running a lab. I mean, imagine having parents who can just help pass things out and oversee some of that stuff. And because at our school we're on a 55-minute bell schedule, and if you had 3 or 4 extra sets of hands and eyes to help out, I think they could make things run a lot more, smoothly. That's one example.
So one of the things we've done over the last 2 years now at my school And what my grade level really wanted to do, really my grade level was, we did a flipped back to school night. So we put our back to school night presentation online and used the time that we normally would present at parents, and I say at, and I use that really emphasized, is that we use that to build relationships. So we were talking with parents, we were connecting with them, we were having conversations about, pedagogy, which is probably the best conversations I've had with parents ever about teaching and learning, because I wasn't presenting that whole time and trying to jam in a bunch of stuff. And all of us know, like, if we were to jam in the amount of stuff we try to jam in at a back to school night, what are the parents really walking away with? And why are they really there? They're there to check me out. They want to see who's this teacher with my child, and really what is that? So better use of time is to build a relationship with them. So that's what we said. We're going to put it all online. We're going to send out the link day one. And then that night, that's our back to school night, we're just going to hang out with parents. And actually this year, we're bringing in food trucks, and we're going to have it more of like a social event and connect with parents and families and focus on that relationship building, rather than just trying to spew this information really fast that they're not going to remember, and they're going to probably question in 6 months anyways if they don't have a good relationship with me. So
yeah,
I like that.
I think with back to school, a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this myself, but we have 12 minutes with those parents, and so you'll fill those 12 minutes chock full of information so that you don't have to talk to parents. So it does take a change in attitude, and that kind of mental shift to like, hey, let's connect. It would take a mental shift on the part of the parent. It would take a mental shift on part of the parents too, because a lot of times when you do kind of flip that and reverse that, they're not ready for it. So Scott, do you set those parents up? Do you kind of introduce how you're going to do it and what you're looking for in that flipped back to school? We
did, and if you go to bit.ly/flip B2S, you can see kind of what we did, and there's some links to that. But Sean, it was interesting. The parents came in, and they were used to the sit and get. So they sat down in their kids' seats and looked at me, and I was like, no, that's not what it's about. Come on, take a look around the classroom. I'm here to have a conversation with you. And it was great, and the parents were awesome. And the feedback we got were they really appreciated having online. Our parents that were second language were able to have a translator there with them to actually get the information that we wanted to communicate with them. Gosh, there were so many benefits to doing that, and then that night of back to school night, to have it just about talking and hanging out and meeting was so much more beneficial for us and for the parents, I feel like, and the feedback we got was the same from the parents. So yeah, I think it's worth a try. But I'm sure there's other ways to connect with parents. What other ways do you guys think that you can help connect and build better relationship with parents?
Well, I think I love that flipped open house. I'm not sure everyone would watch it. I mean, did you share it on Facebook and Twitter? I mean, how did you get that link out there?
We shared it on YouTube, and we shared the link on YouTube, and we could see the views. So we knew how many people actually, or at least how many views watched it. And and there's so much analytics now on YouTube. You can see, those viewers where they were watching it and all this kind of thing. But we had parents that were repeat parents that didn't really need to watch again what was fifth grade history, because they knew what fifth grade history was.
Right.
But so we saw that we got 80-90% of the parents watching it, and if they didn't, that was okay too, because I have no guarantees that even 10% are listening to me in my my 20-minute jaunt through things.
And at least they can go back to it and say, and review it, But I was thinking also to address problems, like we had parents talk about. We had somebody come talk to our parents about social media because that's such a big deal, and just getting a relationship where it's a discussion about a topic that they care about. I mean, we wish we would have had more people, but actually the people that came were really happy, and then the other ones started talking about we need to do this more often. And I was just thinking about ways to help parents become more comfortable with technology too, because they're intimidated by their kids. and they shouldn't be. So I don't know. What do you think? I just think the relationship where it's all of us together with the parents, not just these three factions, students, parents, and teachers, or school. I mean, that's what I'm trying to. And I think the flipped would be really good. I really like that. I don't know that every teacher would do it, but was that hard to get everybody to do it?
Well, it is because change, right? But I had parents talking about sitting down with their kids and watching the back to school night presentation together and having conversations about what the upcoming year was going to be like for them. So,
Awesome.
I don't know if that would happen at high school, Sean. I mean, would that happen in high school?
I think you could definitely include. I think that would work. I think, yeah. I don't know how well the sit down with the parents, watching that together would go, because you get that teenage attitude like, oh, I ain't doing that. But I think it would be valuable to have, just that sit down, that face to face. And like you said, just invite the parents into your room and into your world, and that student world. I think that's definitely a better use of time. We're going to be using Canvas, a new LMS system. That I'm actually wearing their hat right there. Check it out. But anyways,
is that paid? Were you paid for that?
No, I was not.
Because EdCamp, Sean. There's no promotion at EdCamp.
I got the hat for free, so and it's very comfortable, very soft. But anyways, one of the things I like about this LMS is that parents could come in and watch as observers, and they can be alerted to as many things as they want to be alerted to, and so it really kind of helps them come into the classroom and see what their students are doing. So yeah, I think these things would definitely work in high school for sure.
Cool.
We were successful. We did, they called it Literacy Night, and they had each grade level come up with like an activity based on books and different things, and the kids would move through sessions, and there were times to read, and their parents were with them in the evening. They brought their sleeping bags and their blankets, and they made little spots on the floor, and they brought pizza in, and they just had like a big party, and that was very well received. What I'd love to see us do down the road is something along the same lines with tech. Even if, you said you have a few iPads coming in, Debbie, have an iPad or two in like a little center and make the kids teach their parents.
Right.
Show them something they know how to do in school.
Mm-hmm. Right. I like that a lot. And I also don't think we share enough with the community. I mean, we have a web page, or not a very good one, but we have different ways to share. But to bring them in, and even the community at large, if they wanted to come in for some kind of sharing thing, some point of the day. I don't know. Do you guys ever invite the community in? Is it different? I mean, I don't know.
No. I think we don't do that enough. David, Terry, and I, we ran kind of like a 20% project, and when the students presented their work on that, we invited parents and community members in, and so I think that's great. We have a science teacher who it's environmental science, and her students do these big projects, and she does like a poster presentation, and where the students hang up these giant posters in the hallways, and
Cool.
the parents and community members could come in. So I would love to see more of that. Teachers sharing the work their students are doing in class, and inviting the community members in there to see that, and to see what they're doing, and what the school looks like.
And Sean,
Right, and also, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say blogging is one way to share what's going on in your classroom, right, Sean?
Thanks for that segue, Scott. That's the session I signed up for, and I thought I was getting into, and then Scott says, no, it's building parent relationships, and I thought he was joking, and so, but blogging, Scott, is just one way of sharing what's in the classroom, what students are working on, but there are many ways to do that. But I do think, again, I'd like to see more of that at every level, is turning that around and becoming a glass room, a glass classroom. Is Amy Berval likes to call it her glass classroom, and I think the perfect hashtag for that is glassroom. Like let people see what it looks like inside your classroom and what your students are doing.
Yeah. Well, and like Marcy said, with the iPads, just having, like you said, your 20% or Genius whatever hour projects, if they had a QR code for where the kids recorded something and the project and talked about it, they could just go through with your iPads. You could let them, or their device, but I mean, just to get their hands and see what these devices can do, and the kids could be, have prepared that all around the building. I just think that, like you said, having the community and parents come in more is really important, just to build that relationship.
Hey, Eric, welcome. Sorry it took so long to get you in.
No, I appreciate it. I really was not aware that you had to register, I guess, beforehand, but I do appreciate the invite.
Hey, Sean didn't register either.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of the Rebel hangout.
Okay. Well, that's good, because that's what I am.
We only have a few minutes here. Does anybody want to add anything else about building positive parent relationships or blogging?
Well, let me just say that I teach at an alternative school, and we have a student population of between, well, we're going to start the year with 29. We ended last year with about 50, and it's a high poverty, low tech area. Most of the students don't have internet at home, and so that really restricts us in what we can do. And of course, most of our parents are, they have that negative perception of school from when they were in school. And so that really also hampers our ability to interact with parents, because anytime they're contacted, it's usually in a negative connotation, and they do not like to come up to school. Parent-teacher conferences and open houses tend to be, out of 50 students, we might get 3 parents into the school at all, and that's from grades 4 to 12. So it's a very difficult obstacle and hindrance for us. But it is one that I want to make inroads into to try to get those parents into the school.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, that reminds me, Eric, I've always had this goal, and I've failed every year, and that's to call home at least once, every student's home, and because those are the coolest calls, and just call them and just talk about their son or daughter and just say, hey, love having them in class, maybe share something that they said or did. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering, but I think that would be, matter of fact, I'm going to reset, and I'm going to try that again, because like you said, Eric, the parents are used to hearing from the teachers of the school when there's a problem, and that's not good customer service. You know what I mean? I mean, we should be calling and contacting them when their students are doing well, or just to give any kind of feedback with how their students are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we have hit our limit right now. They're going to be starting up the next part of EdCamp Home, which is the slam. So thanks you guys for popping in here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me hijack you into this session.
Thanks a lot, Scott.
All right, we'll see you guys at the slam.
Yeah, bye.
EdCamp Home 3.0.
3.0. Bye.